Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. On this video we're going to talk about how we get our power and the changes to the power system that we want to make.
Yeah, you might hear a bit of wind noise in this video. It's very windy outside today, so apologies for that, but we'll do what we can with the editing on that.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Hi, I'm Kayleigh and this is Stephen, and along with our two dogs, Hugo and Coco, we live full-time on board our 37-foot narrowboat, Grayswood. After living nearly 2 years in our self-converted campervan, we decided we needed more space. We spent 6 weeks renovating the insides before moving on board full-time. Follow us on our narrowboat journey, where we will show you what it's really like living on the English waterways whilst having full-time jobs. Subscribe and welcome aboard. These are some of the approximate costs that we think we'll need to spend to make Grayswood off-grid.
At the moment, to live comfortably, we have to be plugged into 240 volts mains. Obviously that works nicely in the marina, but obviously, like Kayleigh said, we want the boat to be as off-grid as possible. So the 240 makes it comfortable for us because, you know, we've got a TV, a 240 volt TV, we've got a quite expensive coffee machine, so we get really nice coffees out of that, and we obviously want to be able to get them just through solar or just using our 12 volt system to do. So the boat at present, it is majority 12 volt, as in the lights are 12 volt, we can charge our phones 12 volt, but as we live on it, we do want to have home comforts in the boat as well.
So we need to both be able to work from home. At the moment we are unable to charge our laptops because we don't have an inverter, and yeah, there's nothing powerful enough. So that's one of the upgrades that we definitely need to make, so that we can both work from home with our laptops.
So at the moment we are able to sustain ourselves because we've got, like we said, 2 leisure batteries. In the future we do want to upgrade these to a bank of 4 leisure batteries and 1 starter, so it'll be 5 batteries in total. So that's going to be a upcoming video. Laughing that I'm doing maths. Right, and obviously it allows us to be out cruising a bit longer if we've got bigger batteries, and like we said, we want to add solar to them to keep them topped up. However, we do have a cruise coming up in July, which I'll let Kayleigh explain a bit more about what we're doing on there, but we are doing it on a bit of a tight budget, so we do need to prioritise what we need, and as you all know, we sort of want to get a pure sine wave inverter, and they're quite expensive. We was looking at a Victron one, we still want to get it, but it's sort of out our budget at the moment in time, so we have other plans for that.
Yeah, so our 2-week holiday in July that we're planning on doing is going round the 4 counties ring. So because during that time we still need to do YouTube videos and things like that, we are going to look at the possibility of getting a generator just to see us through for that trip. And we can still use it in the future as a backup, so it's not going to be wasted money.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about having a generator, I mean, some people may not like them, but we are the type of couple who we always have a little project going on at times. You know, I could use it for tools if we need to. We are planning doing another campervan in the future at some point, so it'll come in handy with that, so I could work on the van off-grid as well. If our batteries died out on the cut as well, we could just plug in the generator, use a battery charger, top charge backup, so it's a bit of a fail-safe.
So our current 12 volt system is made up of LED lights. We use our water pumps are 12 volt, the whale gulper is 12 volt, and also our fridge freezer is 12 volt. So at the moment we reckon we can live off-grid for about 2 to 3 days before our batteries completely drain, and we would need to run the engine if that was to happen.
Yeah, so the 240 volt, like we said earlier, would just be so we could have a bit more of a creature comforts in the home. So it'd be simple stuff like 240 volt telly. We don't watch a lot of telly. We have got the laptops that we can use as well, but it'll be charging the laptops and stuff because, you know, we rely on our laptops quite a lot with our works. So like, I'm a photographer and Kayleigh works on the boat a lot, so having access to the laptops and constant power is a benefit for us.
It's essential really, because without it we wouldn't be able to work, so we have to come up with a solution, and we have to be able to make the laptops and everything charge on the boat. We also have different kitchen appliances that we've touched on before in our tour video, that we probably have too many of those, but well. So the coffee machine is the biggest draw, and that's the thing that we have to think about the most, because it's 1800 watts. So yeah, it is a huge draw on the system, so we would need to go much higher than that on an inverter or a generator. We also have blenders and a juicer as well. So we do need something that can run all of those safely. Ideally we would be looking at something that was pure sine wave. So it might seem a bit much to be having all these things running, but the boat is our home. Prior to buying the boat, we did live 2 years in a camper van, so we want to make it comfortable. It's what we enjoy. We want to be able to cook and make nice meals and enjoy our nice coffee when we're out. So it is important to us that we have a solution that works. So there's a lot of projects that we want to do to the boat with the electrical system. They are prioritised depending on our budget, which is quite small at the moment. Yes, so Stephen will explain.
Yeah, so the first thing I need to do before, we need to do before we even think about upgrading the electrical system is we need to rewire the batteries, because at present they're all wired together, so the starter and the two house batteries are wired as a free bank, and I don't like the thought of that, so I'll be putting a split charge in between them. With that, we may see the introduction of the additional 2 leisure batteries, but again it depends on budget, because like we say, we've got that trip coming up in July, which is just around the corner, so it may have to wait for the solar introduction of that. Got to have a look into solar panels and stuff, but I think we want to go for about 500 to 600 watts of solar power, because we do want to obviously get as much as we can in, but we've obviously got quite a small boat in comparison to others as well, so we will be limited on solar panel sizes.
Yeah. Well, we were looking at the solar panel sizes, and we were thinking about the ones that are a bit narrower, so you can still walk up and down the roof if we ever needed to do that. Yeah,
because most solar panels can be up to a metre wide, but we do know there are ones out there about 60 centimetres wide, 80 centimetres wide, that allow us to get the gaps either side, which Kayleigh mentioned, so we could walk along the roof if we needed to.
Yeah, I think we were also thinking of fitting the solid ones, not the flexible ones, and fitting them on a bracket so that we can tilt them up and down depending on where the sun is.
Yeah, so we get maximum efficiency out of the solar panels, basically. Yeah. And obviously, I think the last thing that we will do, just because of the price of it, is we want to fit an inverter. Now, a lot of people will think, oh, you can fit a 200 watt inverter, 400 watt inverter, but we actually want to fit the Victron Multi Plus, I believe it's called, which will be our charger, but it also has a 3 kilowatt inverter in it as well, because we do want that extra power should we need it. It is a big expense, but like we keep saying, we do live on the boat, we want all our comforts, and I want to be confident that I have the power there should I need it, rather than having a lower rated inverter which will burn out because we're pushing it too much. That's the same thought process with the generator that we're going for, because we could just get a 700 watt generator which will, it'll do our laptops, it'll do most things, but it wouldn't do a coffee machine or hair dryers and stuff like that. But if we had, say, a 2 kilowatt inverter and we had something at 2 kilowatts running, we're just going to run the machine to death. So we want to make sure we've got that extra little bit of power, just so we have longer life on it. Like say, buy cheap, buy twice. So we don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, we learnt our lesson when we converted our first camper van. We will do a video on that, just showing what we did, and that's pretty much how we learnt most of the skills that we've learnt by fitting that out ourselves.
We actually did fit a very cheap inverter to that camper van, and we were sat, I believe it is in the middle of York, and I noticed some smoke coming out from where the batteries were, and the cabling had actually melted on the inverter, and it is starting to smoke. So I just ripped it out there and then, and it went straight back to Amazon.
Yeah, we learnt our lesson with that one, so that's why we will be fitting a good Victron inverter, so we know it's safe, and we know that if we do leave the boat or whatever, this a situation like that won't happen again, because thankfully we were on the van when that happened. Otherwise, it could have been pretty bad.
A fire. Yeah. Due to our budget and the upcoming trip, we've decided to go with the generator first on our list of jobs to do. This is mainly down, like I say, to the budget and the trip. We are looking at quite a few generators, but we've got to keep in mind where we can store it as well. Now, ideally, the best place for us to store it would be on the swim, because we've got a cruiser stern, so we've got quite a big engine space in there. But I just need to measure up, just make sure it go behind the diesel heater. That would be best case scenario. The generators we're looking at are the Clark Power ones. The reason we're looking at these ones is we know that they use Honda engines in them, and Kayleigh's dad actually has a Clark generator himself, and he can't sing praises of it anymore. He's a farmer, he uses it for all sorts of things, so he's used it on a boat that he's got himself. I imagine he's used it around the farm as well a bit there.
Probably, yeah.
So it's, if he gives us a sign off on it, I trust Kayleigh's dad's opinion on that.
Yeah, and it's useful to know that somebody else has one and they can say that if it's good or not good, and especially using it in a boat environment as well. It's really helpful. Yeah,
just again, because we've got a 37-foot boat, we need to look at our size consideration, because ideally we want a suitcase generator because they're a bit smaller, but if we end up having to get a frame mounted generator, we may just have to do a bit of rejigging to see where we can fit it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing we want to do is buy something and not be fit for the purpose we're buying it for.
So this week, this little guy here, Hugo, hasn't been very well. The other night he woke up and couldn't really walk very well. So we took him to the vets, and they said that his back and right pelvis seemed to be a bit sore and stiff. They couldn't find any evidence of any injury, or we didn't know that he'd hurt himself. So they're putting it down to his age, unfortunately, because Hugo is 11 this month. So yeah, he's getting an old boy, aren't you, Hugh?
He is, but thankfully he seems to be on the mend. Like Kay says, it's a bit concerning when he is walking with a bit of a limp, but he's on his painkillers.
He's fine. Yeah, he's fine now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting there.
So that's good.
Just keeping a close eye on him.
So we hope you enjoyed this video, and when we do get the inverter and the solar and whatever else, we will film the installation process and show you which one that we did go for in the end.
Right, in the next video we're going to look at my carpentry skills, because Kayleigh wants me to build some drawers. Again, this will tie into the trip because we want a bit more storage space. We did build a bed extension, we didn't film it unfortunately, but we will be filming the building of the drawers that will go underneath it. So, like Kay says, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
See you in the next video.